I can add s. So for example, a place or a run. But most of the time, where will you use es? Where we will use es means, but most of the time we can see that with some verbs es actually added. But how we will actually understand them. So basically we use this kind of s beside the, of course, the verb. Most important is that when we will have ch, sh, h, x or o, but you have to must es, you have to must es, but yes, but this kinds of sign, you will find the last words of the verb, for example, you can see main word is wash, main word is wash, but when you will guess the last words sh, but you have to use last es. Okay, but when you this word, main word is fixed. Okay, when you get x last with the last word, you can see the last word. So but you have to use es. Okay, but here the sign e, but this is go is a main verb. When you will have of course the o in the last, so you have to use es, but this is more important that, but you have to use this kind of sign in that case is that when you'll get, but when you will have this kind of subject. I can see show that for example, I get you that when you will have she, this kind of, they said that she, it, or any names, a doctor or Maria, but this kind of case, but in this case you will have to as the main verb yes. Okay, yes, but this is very important. But if I do example, you will understand very clearly. Viewers, don't worry, I'm here available for you. So you can see that for verbs ending, but I have written for you that for verbs ending in a constant plus y, change y to I add es, but most of the time we can see that. So you can see the try, this is a try, but you can see here, you can see the y, this is the try, but when we also look, when we will do actually plural or something in with the third person, but we can use the tries. You can just, for example, I can see that he tries, but I try will be, okay, I try, but when I will say she try, this is incorrect, but when I will say she tries, this is the correct, she correct. Okay, but she try, but Rohim tries. So this way you can use, but changing y, it will be ies in third person, when actually third person subject will be added in subject. Now for example more, I'll say that here you can see sentence structure, affirmative sentence, but we can say the affirmative sentence, negative sentence, interrogative sentence in the present indefinite tense. Here is the positive statement. So the actually I'll say the verb, the structure, the formula or structure. Firstly you have to use the subject, then verb, then verb and object, but according to subject you have to add s or es. You have to use with the verb s or es, but I already taught you why you will use s or es or why you will not use, but I actually told you. So if you do practice a little, that will be great opportunity for you for better understanding. So you can see that I eat breakfast. Here you can see that I eat. Here is I eat breakfast. I eat breakfast. Here I use only I. That's why I didn't add here anything, but s or yes I didn't add here. She eats. Here is she, the third person. I use here subject she, he, it, or Rohima, Korima, or any names I can say, but I have to use with the verb as. But I can say that she eats breakfast. They drive. I told you they drive a car. He drives a car. So I already taught you why you will use them. So this is very important. So negative sentence I can find is that, but in this case when you will have this group, for example the we, I, you, we, the students and trees and bottles, that's kind of sentence. When you get in the negative, you have to use do not or don't or do not, you have to use. Okay, here you can see we use do not or doesn't here, but I told you the differences. For example, I'll show you so that you get better understanding for you. Here you can see the subject subject plus do or does not based from subject. This is the structural formula. So don't you will use don't, do not, or don'ts when you'll have the subject I, you, we, or they. I, you, we, or they. When you'll get this subject beginning of the sentence in present indefinite, so you have to use in the negative time do not or don't, do not or don't. But the doesn't word you will use, it's called a doesn't or does not. Okay, while you have the subject at the beginning of the sentence he, she, it, but you have to use does not. Okay, you have to use does not. So viewer, you can say, I can see the key trick for you. After doesn't, the main verb never has ns. Okay, but it returns to its simple form. For example, I can say that I here subject I, but of course in the negative I have to use do not. But I told you do not use do not. I do not like coffee. Okay, here as subject I use, but during negative I have to use doesn't. I have to use doesn't or does not. So she doesn't like coffee. Okay, not doesn't. Ever you can say we do not, we here subject we, so that's so we have to use do not. We do not work on Friday. Here subject he, but we have to use doesn't. He doesn't work on Friday. This is fantastic. Actually, I'll say, viewer, this is fantastic. So how will you question? The we start the question with do or does. We start the question with do or does. But let's see where we'll use do and where we won't use does. But this formula is very important for you. Do, does, where I can say subject based from no as object plus. But it's very difficult and base. But when you look example, that will be very clear for you, viewer. So you can see here do is, do will be, do will be only if you have this kind of sentence, this kind of subject at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, does you will have only she, he, she, it, or any names, Rohima, Korima, or any names can be. If I show the example, will be very clear. Okay, after the tricks for you people. After does, the main verb never has s and s, never has an s. So after main verb never has s. But how is that example? You can see, viewer. For example, you. But at the time of interrogative, do you speak English? Here subject you. That's why I have to bring the beginning of the sentence do. Beginning of the sentence do. I have to bring the do because subject you. Okay. But does she speak English? Does she speak English? But here she subject. That's why I have to bring the does. Oh, does she speak English? So here the does. Okay. But I can say they subject. So I have to bring the do. I have to bring the do during question. Okay. Do they live here? Here he, but I have to bring the does. Does he live here? That's very important. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and thank you so very much. In the students hall. In the students hall building. Student halls means a building where a student live, where a student or live. Her campaign, viewers. Her campaign was modest. Her campaign was modest, but her ideas felt real. Her idea felt true. Here real means true. Modest means simple, modest. And here ideas means thought. The famous Madhuchantin became the heart of all the decision. Here heart means center. This discussion means the talk. Discussion means talk. Famous means well known. A man or can be well known. Okay. A student held passionate. A student had passionate debates over cups of tea. Here discussion means talk. Discussion means passion with a strong feeling. That's called the passionate. It's called the passionate. Debates means serious talk. Debates means serious talk can be happen between two or among. Education, election, but it's called election day. Arrive with the feeling of a festival. Here means festival means happy celebration. Okay, happy celebration. Election, arrive means I call it came. Feeling a sense. Feelings means a song. Long line of a student. Long line of students means the people not short. It's a long. lines mean people waiting. People waiting. Students mean I told you. Outside the voting center. Outside the voting center. Voting center. Asif stood. Asif stood passionately. Passionately in his line. In his line. Watching everyone. He actually watching everyone, but he observing the situation. Here watching means looking at. Okay, looking at. Passionate means calmly. Passionate means calmly. That is called it. Inside the voting booth. Inside the voting booth. He held the long ballot. He had the long ballot paper. Ballot paper means a sheet for writing. Sheet for voting. Ballot means voting. He saw the familiar symbols with meaning, symbol, and the unique ones for the independence. Here you can see that's very important sentence. This is he saw familiar symbols. He saw familiar. Here familiar means well known. Saw means looked. Past indefinite from look. Unique means special. Unique means special. Okay. He carefully marked his choices. He carefully marked his choices. Here choices means things he picked. Marked means made a sign. Carefully means with much thoughtful. But thinking very carefully he did it. Bold and powerful. Here you can see the boat dropping the box powerfully, very strongly dropping their boat. Everyone waited for the final result. Everyone waiting for the final result. Here waiting means waiting. Standing opposite. Here means standing means very surprising. In opposite, as a surprise to win. A major party won. A major party won many position. A major, a big one, important. One means was the winner of this job. But for the powerful job of vice president, vice president, Brad Biffy, an independent candidate had won the election. Independent means not in the party. Candidate means person wanting the job. Okay, person wanting a job. Asif smiled. A smile in the happy crowd. In every crowd, the long silence was finally over. You can say a smile means made a happy look. Happy means feelings very good. A crowd means a big group of people. Long time silence means quiet. And over. And the students, the people who study, they should Dhaka University had a boys, powerful boys, and again they have boys. Here you can see the silence means quiet time. Over means finish. And say crowd means a big group of people. So viewer, if you like this video, please subscribe my channel, and thank you so very much.